Hi everyone, Adrian here, and today I'm going to take you through Notion and let you give you a tour of its features and give you some ideas of how it can be used for a writer. So we will dive in. I've created a new workspace, so it's fairly new. They've also they've changed things around since I first started. So uh, the good news is I was just looking at the pricing, just trying to look at the features, what features are available for free and what features are available for if you buy a subscription. And honestly, I think that for most of you, you're going to be able to really get everything done with just a free account. So that's really good news. So let's set this up. Getting it ready so that you literally, here we go. This is a um blank Notion page. So we're not going to take you through how to set it up for the way that I set it up just yet. We'll do that in a different video. But it just give you some ideas of what it does and why you should be interested in it. So at the most basic level, think of it as a notebook. Okay, so we can let's just add a page in here. So we can say notes. You have lots of different options here, but we're just going to say empty with an icon. You can change this. So you can just say, look, here are my writing notes. Right. So you could be listening to a podcast and maybe making notes. Anything that you would potentially write in a notebook. Now, you may have been a bit like me, and I used to be terrible at taking notes. I'm still not perfect. I'm still working at it. So you might say, well, what's the use? So first of all, think about in your document, my documents folder, or documents folder if you're on a Mac. Um, think about all what you keep in there, right? And it's gonna be kind of really silly things. It's gonna be, when I say silly things, I mean you've probably got some to-do lists that you were going to go through and things that you need to get done. You may have had copies of your you might have a list of videos, a list of your Netflix binge watch list. You might have, I'm trying to think, you know, you maybe got some notes from somewhere about a workshop that you went on, and it's all these kind of, probably I would think if you are a non-notesy person, what you have is a My Documents folder with a few folders and not a lot of organization. So the way that this works is that think of it as your My Documents folder. Okay. So let's, instead of saying notes, let's say I'm going to have writing notes here. Okay. So we can then add a page underneath. And we could say story ideas. We've all got a story ideas document, haven't we? We never ever then use. So we can do that. We can uh we can change the icon. Let's make it a dragon. There we go. It's basically emojis. You can add a cover there. So you can change the cover. If you want to make his page look sort of smart, you can upload your own. The only thing that I've learned that is really going to screw you over, well, screw you over is not a bit too strong a word, but the only thing that's really going to stop you as a writer from just getting away with the free version is probably uploading images for this. You know, so they give you a few sample ones. Okay, that looks good. We'll have that one. Oh, we can't see her face there. So let's reposition that. There we go. That looks a lot better, doesn't it? So we can then save that position. Okay, so we can do sort of things to make the page feel nice. Now you notice at the moment it's like a little pop-up. We can open it as a proper page. And then we can, we can list our story ideas, man becomes insect. Um reptiles take over. Well, I don't know why I'm going on the whole reptiles take over the world. And we can maybe, we could, bit like a word processor, we can kind of come up with, subsections on that. Insect, make insect a stick insect. It's fairly easy. We can see like there's lots of tabs, and what you'll notice is next to all of these, there's like these little pluses and drag. Like a drag icon. So what we can do if we want, we could drag the reptiles up to there. We can move things around. Now, initially, when you're writing, if you're just writing it, you're not going to notice it, but you can do some interesting things. So, if we click that, we have the option to turn it into something. So we could make it a bit like you would click and to make like turn into a heading. So we can make that a heading. There we go. So it just makes it a bit bolder. We can you could make it into its own page. Maybe if we want to do, I'll show that in a minute. Actually, let's do the easy ones. Let's make it to do item. Maybe a bullet list. Let's make it a bullet list. So turn into there we go. Now a bulleted list. So whereas like with Word or that, we're used to kind of going up to the toolbar at the top and kind of doing these things. You do them from here. So toggle list. So what you can actually do, you say reptiles take over the world. Alligators. There we go. So we can have. So we've got an item underneath that. But then when you see what I mean with the toggle list, it disappears. So we can turn into. We could do that as a quote. You've got all sorts of formatting options. You can also, that's where it gets interesting, is I'm trying to think of anything else. You've got equation blocks. Let's turn it into a page. So you see it's becoming like a little icon there, and what you'll find now, under story ideas, we've kind of now got man become make insect a stick insect. So it's now become its own page. And we can, if we don't like that icon, let's add our own different icon in. That'd be good. Yeah, that'll do. So we can start organizing our content however we like. And it doesn't need to be too fancy. You might say, well, we want to make some pages really nice. We want to have a nice background for them. You can spend the time on it. You can get lost in it. You can add comments to it as well. One of the things I think, if some of you may have looked at Evernote years ago, and I did as well. And the problem I had with Evernote, and I think it's the same problem people have with Notion, is they go, great, okay, knowledge management system. And then they come into this and they go, right, great. What do I do? How do I set it up? Because the best tools are the ones where they don't dictate how you should work. They just give you the sandbox to play in. But that can sometimes make them really unwieldy and make it difficult to kind of use them effectively. So we will go through. I'm going to start building some of the features that I've gone through in my when I looked at my systems. I showed my systems off. I will go through and I will kind of teach you how to build those. But at the moment, we're just really looking at what the potential of Notion is. So another thing you can do is let's go through. I mean, you can have a table. So think of this as a basic Excel spreadsheet. So maybe we want to have a story, and then we will have submitted, and then we'll have accepted. Question mark. Oh, no, accepted. I'm trying to do things that shows different. And maybe a note section. Okay. So this is like a submission tracker. Very, very basic. Super basic. So story is alligators versus insects. It's going to be a bestseller. So what we're going to do, as you can see at the moment, you can see these little, next to the names, there's like these little icons. So we want this to be text, right? Think of this as like Excel formatting. Submitted, we want this not to be multi-select. We want this to be a date. Oh, look, we've got a calendar. We submitted it today. There we go. Just add it in. There we go. I'm going to add an extra thing in because I just want to show off one other feature. So let's put here genre and make that, we want to make that multi-select. So we want to make it, it's grimdark. Let's make some nice grimdark. And maybe it's a romance as well. Romance. There we go. So we've got different genres there. Was it accepted? Let's change this one. And this will affect for all the ones below. Let's make it a checkbox. Okay. You notice it's doing for the ones below as well. And then we've got some notes, right? So, obviously it was accepted. And they were said it was best story ever. Maybe we do alligators versus badgers. This is the sequel, and we've decided that this one, it's still grimdark, but this time it's also going to be, it's going to be sci-fi because the badgers are going to have hand blasters. There we go. So create sci-fi. We submitted that. Well, yeah, we submitted that a week ago. A week ago? Not even a week ago. 4 days, 3 days ago. But it wasn't accepted. And that was the worst story ever. So you can see how you can start to build really interesting things here. But it goes a little bit further because what we can do is we can open this. So you can see now we have a different view. We have this as more as a page. So, there's a bug. There's an insect for alligators. Oh, it's alligators versus crocodile. There is excellent. Look, even go. So we can add a cover to that if we wanted to. Just a thing. Yeah, that would be great. And we can add. We can add notes here. We could say like, you know, Pulitzer Prize entry. I can't even. It's not. I can't spell. I can't type. There we go. It's a Pulitzer Prize entry. So we've got, you know, we've got this kind of view. We've got a slightly different view. So what if we go back to our submissions tracker? What we can do, we can like, if we've got a new entry, we can like use this as a form to fill in almost. You can have that different kind of view on it. And you can add different types of view, different ways to look at things. So we could do a calendar view. Okay. And we're just going to let's just call it not going to try and I'm trying to make it not too complicated. So if we got this, I mean, you notice now under this submission tracker, we've got a different view here. And you can see we've got our entries here with the dates. So there we go. When we click on it, we've got our notes there. And that was really simple to do. And I mean, it can be really confusing because you can go down a rabbit hole with this. So you've got that. We've also got, if you are, everybody's going nuts about Kanban boards. If you don't know what they are, I can do a video on them at some point. I don't particularly use them, but some people use them for like their to-do lists, where they basically say, you know, it's cover design. Right. This is even like it gives you. It's in there, so you can do like if you do the sort of Kanban type stuff, you can do that. You can build a to-do list as well in here quite easily. A list. So these have all different pages underneath. So you could fiction projects maybe. Again, how I wouldn't do this way for fiction projects personally, but you might. So so we can do things like that, and then right, so we've got like a little fiction database, fiction list here. So, but what we could do is you could add a property. So we can add something to this, and we are gonna go down to advanced, and you have things like relation. So I want to link it to my submission tracker. I'm going to link it to that. There we go. So now what you've done, and again, if you're like all confused, I want and trying to make notes, don't worry about it. It's just try and understand the capabilities of it. Now what we've done, we've got our fiction project. Oh, Alex, very insects, and we've changed the name of that to submissions. Oh look, now we can go through, links through to our submission. Now you see you've got a related here, so you've got this like feedback loop. Actually, this relates to the fiction project, alligators versus insects. There we go, takes us back. So you can create all these wonderful links. You can also do now. I remember trying to remember how to do it. So yeah, you can link pages. So if you want to create your own wiki, there you go. So imagine this is like a page where you've you're creating your own Wikipedia for your world building, and you might want to be that is not as bad as, and we've just done a little @ sign there. There's all these little shortcuts. Alligators versus insects. So you can build like this, if you can imagine these wiki pages. So you can do that. You can also have a gallery. So let's go into there. We don't want to do. Let's take that stuff out. Default. We are gonna do. We're gonna do novels. Let's just do novels. Oh, no. Call this novels. So we are gonna call this novel 1. Let's add a cover to it. maybe we get the cover art there, have an icon if we wanted to. You can upload these as well. We maybe, let's relate this to, we can say like relation. Let's do it to our submissions database, submission tracker. Alligators versus badgers. See how it can kind of all start connecting up now. So I'm trying to remember how you get it. There's something that you get to say show as a cover. No, no, no. Oh, yeah. There we go. I've said it's the page cover. You can have it as the page cover, or you could have the page content. So what you could do, I'm not going to upload, but you could upload a picture here and have that appear rather than the cover. But I've changed it. Again, these are all kind of different options. So this one is, Badgers in Space. Is my next novel. It's going to be fantastic. It's not related to any submission at the moment because it's top secret. Add another cover to that. There we go. So you can get like a different kind of visual look. If you've seen my video, like I do this for like my weekly and my monthly. What else can we have? You have the potential to do timelines. You only get 3 of these, I believe. Yeah, you only get 3 timeline views. Even if you pay. So I haven't even delved into that, but if you kind of like have this project management kind of view of things, you can use that as well. And then you can, you can start doing some really interesting things. So, like for example, the key to bring up the commands is slash. So you can have slash, text, embed a page, a to-do list, heading, bulleted list, numbered list. These all seem, we showed you the toggle list, the quote, divider, link to a page, we showed that, call out, all the kind of normal formatting things. Mention a page, mention a person, date or reminder, emojis. You can do equations if you want something mathematical. A table. We can, so maybe we can we bring, yeah, we can have like a little table within the story ideas if we wanted to. If we wanted to. Calendar, all these things, these features, you can actually embed them into pages. Link database, we've been doing a bit of that. Images, web bookmarks, you can do. Sometimes you can get it to do, like if you've used like Evernote Clipper, there's a Notion Clipper as well to bring things through. You can embed YouTube videos, audio, codes, files, embed maps, PDFs. They're getting more and more as they go along. Google Drive documents, GitHub, Google Maps. Some of these things I don't even know what they are. These are different integrations. They're adding integrations all the time. If you see something that you go, oh, I know that. PDFs might be useful as a writer. You can do weird things with like template buttons. So you also have the option to use templates. So they have a load of templates here for different things. So quick notes, personal home. Just so you can have a look at what they look like. Job application. They keep adding to these things. So let's just see blog post. You can maybe, there are ways that you can then make some of your pages public, and then share them with people. So it is potentially a way you could do like a small website. It's I don't think you should use it for a full website. I think there's too many things you have to get around that if Notion kind of changes the way that they work, it's not going to work that great. But maybe for like the equivalent of a Medium style article where you've got an article you want some links to somebody to. So you don't have a web presence, but maybe you want to kind of you've seen something on Twitter, you want to respond, but you want to respond in long form. This might be a way to kind of do that. So they give you lots of different options that you can choose from. So let's just check reading lists. Let's use this template. And then we've got a reading list there. So you can see this is using gallery view to do it. So the big challenge is you can, as I say, I've shown you some of like the advanced database features. The big challenge is how you set it up for yourself, because it's very easy to just go, it's like a notebook, and that can be useful. That is really useful, and I do a lot that is in my own Notion that is just notes. I'm trying to get better at using it. So I've like when I read books and have important information, I kind of do a little summary, a page for a summary, and file that away somewhere. But where it really comes into its own is not the weekly review. Where do we do it? Yeah, submission things like that submission tracker. Look, we literally spent I mean, this entire video is 25 minutes, and we've already built the basics of a fiction project with a link to a submission tracker. It's pretty easy to do. It's pretty easy also to get yourself in a mess with it as well. But you've got a lot of options there. So it can be really helpful for, tracking your submissions, tracking your work process, how you build it to how you work. So this is the pricing for Notion. So the personal is doesn't cost anything. You can use it for free. If you want to go up to the next level, it's $4 per month. If you pay annually. If you pay monthly, it's $5. I'm going to be honest. If you are not too fussy about like images, if you just want to hold text, then you can get away with the personal. Even if you want to kind of use images for like each of your pages, it's gonna be a while before you run into problems. So just to show you the difference between the plans, it used to be that with the personal plan you had a limit on the number of pages and blocks. What we mean by blocks is, if we go to, they talk a lot about blocks, so I will show you. Like each of these little things that you can move around is a block, and it used to be that you could only have so many of those, but now they've changed it and it's unlimited, so it's great. You can't have more than just yourself on it. For most writers, I don't see that as a problem. I've never needed to. You can have pages that are read only to other people, but they can't edit it. Well, that's fine. Oh no, actually, I tell a lie. You can actually have up to 5 people. You can privately invite. You have to privately invite them. It's good. This is the thing that is there's even better. I don't even know why I'm paying anymore, because that's how big the maximum file is. I thought that was overall, but it's not. It's per file. So you really don't need more than this. Collaboration, really, for writing, you're not going to be interested in this. The good thing is that there are web, desktop, and mobile apps. I use the mobile app, and I use the browser app, even though I've got the desktop app installed. Just seem to have it open because I have all my productivity stuff. You're limited to 3 timeline views. I've never used. There's a recent. They've only introduced that probably in the last year. Um, so you get literally all the same. You get the block types. So that's when we press the slash, the starter templates, wiki docs, notes. You can do all that. Databases. We showed you basically that. Tables, calendars, Kanban boards, galleries. We showed you that. There's also a new API, which is because it's very new. It's only a few months old. I'm saying it like this. I'm checking myself because literally it's been the pandemic, and what was a 3 month, what feels like 3 months, also feels like 3 years, and I've lost all concept of time since the pandemic. But they launched the API, and the idea behind the API is that you can connect other apps into it. That's really advanced. I'd like to connect Todoist for me into it. I haven't spent too much time on it. So admin and security, bulk export. You can export everything out as CSVs, HTMLs. So if you own your data, it's really good to know. These are really, you're only going to be dealing with this if you're if you're going to be doing single sign on, you're at enterprise level, and I don't think any writer, however successful, I think James Patterson has single sign on for his team. But if you were at enterprise level, you could do that. The only thing is you don't get priority support. But there is a huge Notion community out there. You will find that in the community, in the uh, productivity space, some people try to kind of there's lots of tools that are coming out that are very similar to Notion. I don't think we'll probably look at them over time, but I don't think any of them really offer anything that is any different, at least for a writer, um, or at least for anybody starting up. So yeah, so that is basically Notion. We will go through. I'm gonna go and do. We'll be doing some videos on how to set it up, how to organize yourself. Because as you can see, look, just what we were doing, it gets messy really, really quick. So you do have to kind of keep an eye on it. But I'll give you some organization tips and how I set things up. And we show you how to set it up as a writer. So I hope that was useful. Let me know your comments in the comments below, and be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell. Isn't that what they say? Oh gosh, here we go. So yeah, so I hope that was useful, and I will see you next time. Thank you.